Hi there, this is Dr. Matthew J. Traum from Engineer Inc. The purpose of this video is to showcase a new working prototype of a product that we are going to begin to include with our model rocketry STEM curriculum, which is a module targeted both for high school and for college courses. The product is this guy, which is a sonic locator beacon. And the purpose of this instrument is if you launch your rocket and it comes down, say, in a tree or in tall grass and you can't see it anymore, the sonic locator, when deployed, makes a high-pitched screeching sound that allows you to locate the rocket with your ears instead of your eyes. So if you can no longer track it visually, you can still hear it with the sonic locator beacon and find it that way. Now, this device is inspired by a similar sonic locator, which is this one here, a sonic locator from a company called Adept Rocketry, which is available for about $25 through the company. And let me just compare and contrast these two to one another. The Adept sonic locator beacon, if I flip it over, has only electronic components, so a control chip here, a timing chip here, and then some other embedded electronics. And it operates using a jumper. So this little U-shaped piece of metal here is a jumper. The U-shaped jumper is attached by a string to the parachute, and when the device deploys, the parachute deploys and causes the jumper to get pulled out like so, and it'll start beeping. So, boop. All right, there's the beep. So the first thing that I noticed when I started using this Adept Rocketry Sonic Locator is that there's no off switch. So I can't just flip a switch and turn it off. It just keeps beeping until that little jumper is put back in there, which sometimes requires a bit of dexterity. So let's get it back in and get that beeping sound turned off. There we go. Okay, so the jumper's back in, the beeper's turned off. So no off switch. So that's one possible opportunity for improvement. Another thing is that these Adept sonic locators, Adept Rocketry sonic locators, use a battery like this, an A123 12-volt battery, which is typically used for the remote controls for garage door openers. There's two challenges. One is because of the way the electronics are set up with the Adept Rocketry Sonic Locator, it continues to draw down the battery even if it's not beeping. So the moment you put the battery in there, you're draining the battery, even if it's not making that beeping sound. The other possible opportunity for improvement here is as I was using this in the course that I'm piloting a lot of the Engineer Inc. Rocketry curricula in, we discovered that we would run down the batteries. So we'd run down these 12-volt batteries, and there is no 12-volt battery of this form factor that I'm aware of on the market that is rechargeable. So ultimately, you have to keep buying new batteries to keep your sonic locator operating. And if you are a budget-conscious high school or college, you've paid the upfront cost to purchase the sonic locator, and then the cost of ownership keeps going up and up and up as you need to buy replacement batteries to keep it functioning. So those three things, the on-off switch, the draining of the batteries when the locator is not operating, and the inability to recharge the battery, suggested some opportunities for improvement. So move this out of the way. So in redesigning the sonic locator to address those limitations, came up with this guy. So this is, again, the prototype of the Engineer Inc. Rocket Sonic Locator. It is a prototype, so it's a little bit rough. The final version will look a lot cleaner, but this demonstrates the basic principle of operation. It's made up of 5 components. First is the piezoelectric beacon, which is right here, which makes the sound. Second is a limit switch, which is right here, which turns it on and off. There is a little acrylic tab right here, which pulls just like that jumper in the other sonic locator to actuate the noise. Flip it over on the back, and there's a battery compartment here, and the whole thing then is built up on the final component, which is just a piece of sheet metal, which is bent and has holes drilled through it to accommodate all the other components. Now, this guy is still small enough that I can fit it comfortably inside the body tube of a rocket, so you can see it goes in just fine. And the way that it works is very similar to the Adept rocketry sonic locator. So let me just turn this guy over. First thing that we notice is that it has an on-off switch. So I can turn it off, I can turn it on. When I turn it on, at the moment at least, you're not going to hear anything, and that's because the jumper is still in place. But now that I've got it turned on, this jumper would be attached to the parachute, and when the parachute deploys, it pulls out the jumper, and you can hear the constant sound of the sonic locator there. So 95 decibels high-pitched sound, which allows you to locate it. Now, unlike the Adept sonic locator, this guy again has an on-off switch, so I can just flip it over and turn it off without need to reset the jumper. So that's one advantage. Second advantage is because there are no electronic components, this entire thing is analog. When that switches off, and or when the button here is depressed, I'm not drawing any battery power. So this conserves battery power much better than the Adept rocketry version of it. And then the final benefit, of course, is the rechargeability of the batteries. So instead of those big 12-volt batteries, which can't be recharged, let me open up the battery compartment here. This guy operates using two button cell batteries. These are the equivalent of CR 2032 batteries. And the reason that I selected these is that there's a company called Zacky's, which produces a rechargeable lithium-ion version of that CR 2032 battery. So here's a rechargeable version of that battery. There is a charge kit that comes from Zacky's, which looks like this. I don't have it plugged in, so you can't see the lights going off, but when these little button cell batteries run down, you can just take them and stick them into the recharger like so, charge them back up again, and you then have new recharged batteries that you can put back into the module, into the sonic locator. So no need to worry about purchasing new batteries, because you can just recharge the ones that come with the unit. So that's the three improvements. One is the on-off switch. Two is that the batteries don't get drained when the unit is turned off. And three is that the batteries are rechargeable. So the overall cost of ownership is really just the cost of the initial purchase. It's small enough to fit back into the rocket. So what I'm going to do now is a demonstration out on a field where I'll load this guy into the rocket. We'll launch the rocket and see how easy it is to recover using the sonic locator. So stand by.
Here we go.
Okay, so here we are with the sonic locator loaded into an Estes model rocket, and we are ready to launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Where'd it go?
All right, Matt Trom from Engineer Inc. here. Let's just revisit that. So we launched this rocket with the sonic locator over a football field, and it actually landed not on the football field as intended, but on the adjoining private property. So we can actually see here, if I run the video forward, you can actually see the rocket coming down. There it is right there. So let me play that again. You can actually see the rocket coming down. Let me see if I can point it out to you. There it is right there, coming down and landing in someone else's backyard. So we couldn't keep the film running and run and retrieve it as originally intended. Actually had to hop in the car and drive out to the residential street where this home was located. And in the interim, it actually started raining. So I was pretty sure that this wasn't going to end well. But as you'll see in a moment, it did end well. So stand by. And there it is. Okay, so to summarize what you just saw, the rocket unfortunately did not come down on the football field as intended. It came down in the backyard of an individual living behind the school, so private property. So we didn't feel comfortable running the video and jumping the fence and going to get it. So instead, we hopped into a car and drove along the street, the residential street where the house was located, with the windows rolled down until we were actually able to hear the sonic beacon. And when we heard the sonic beacon, we stopped, hopped out of the car, and we thought that it was in one backyard. Rang on the doorbell, got the owner to take us back into her yard. The rocket was not in her yard, but we could very clearly hear it in the adjoining yard. That person was not home, so just as we were about to drive away, I'd left a note to let them know that my rocket was in their yard. They came home, and we were able to convince them to let us go into the backyard, and the clip that you just saw was the retrieval of the rocket from the backyard of the individual living in the house next to the football field. So ultimately, the sonic locator worked as intended. We were able to drive down the street and hear the rocket, and then use the sound to figure out exactly which backyard it was in, and then pop into that backyard, and it was just laying on the grass in that backyard, literally just a couple meters from the fence. So it ended up being just a few meters outside of our ability to retrieve it. But anyway, it worked successfully. Here's the rocket. Here's the sonic locator. So I have it, and it can all be reused and tested again some more. So with that, I'll cut off this recording, but thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for your interest in Engineer Inc. and our products, and please look forward to more Engineer Inc. videos in the near future. Take care. Bye.